Good day, ladies and gentlemen, or good evening. I saw in the chat that it's evening for someone. Great to have such an international audience today. Welcome to Teltonika webinar dedicated to truck and trailer data reading directly from the ECU, from its electronic control unit. My name is Ksenia Dolia. I will be your host today, and I am joined by two experts that will help me to explore the topic. So operational marketing coordinator Margarita Smolenska is focusing on professional devices series in Teltonika team. So Margarita, please turn your camera on and show yourself. Don't hide from our audience. So she will share her take on the industry of truck and trailer management and, of course, the technology the solution providers should offer to succeed in heavy fleet telematics. And what is more, behind the scenes, we have as well Donatas Andrulionis, project coordinator for professional devices. He will be answering all your technical questions that you might have during this webinar. So don't forget to ask the questions in Q&A tab. So we will see everything and we will answer it either during the webinar, either at the very end at the Q&A session that we will have as well. I also would like to mention that we are recording the session and we will upload it to our YouTube channel in a couple of weeks or so. So you will be able to rewatch it, or even better, you will be able to share it with a friend or business partner that needs truck and trailer reading insights. So without further ado, let's dive into the topic. So let's start from the market situation. For those of you that are working in logistics industry in Europe, it's not a secret that European region is slowing down. So sitting here in Vilnius, we see that from our experience, we see that by looking at the numbers of the heavy commercial vehicles and buses registered in Europe, in European Union, in the first half of 2025, if we compare to previous years. So according to European Auto Manufacturers Association, the registration went from 1 million to 800,000. So let's see what these numbers mean in particular industries and in countries here in Europe. So the drop in registration is around 15% and is mainly driven by medium-sized trucks here. So the trucks between 3.5 and 16 tons. So the data is not just average. We see the decline in every major logistics hub. So it may be UK, 11.2% decline, France, 18.8%, Spain, 13.6%, Germany, the biggest drop, 27.5%, Italy, Poland, and Romania. So this slowdown impacts all related industries, from vehicle manufacturers to, of course, telematics. Well, growing numbers of vehicles on the road normally means an automatic growth possibilities for telematics providers, for us as hardware manufacturers and for our partners in the regions as well. More vehicles equals more devices sold, more subscriptions sold, bigger projects in your portfolio. But does slowing down in logistics specifically mean slowing down for professional telematics? Does it really mean that growing in telematics is mission impossible for European providers? Well, I believe that it is very hard to grow if you focus on the number of units you sell instead of the value you provide for each and every fleet owner, for each and every truck. And today I'd like to invite you to change the approach if you're still thinking more about the numbers. The fleet owner in 2025, that's what we see in Europe, focuses on efficiency and sustainable growth. They don't want to have a bigger fleet. They want a more efficient fleet, delivering more cargo in a shorter period of time with less money spent on fuel and maintenance. They want their vehicles to serve longer and better, and that's the value the telematics provider can deliver, helping the client and at the same time growing the margin. We believe that telematics is not about just providing the data. Telematics is a tool to answer business questions and improve operations. CAN-powered analytics can extend vehicle life without maintenance being a burden, can simplify compliance and make following regulations effortless. It's especially crucial here in Europe, where we have quite strict driving hours regulations. It can help cutting operational costs on biggest expenses. And last but not least, it helps making the hard decisions based on trustworthy data. But the question is, what exact data to extract, how to do it, once the data is received, how to use it. So today I have the expert ready to answer all these questions. Luckily I have the expert to answer this. And Margarita, I am passing the word to you to expert talk.
Thank you, Ksenia. Heavy fleets indeed face big challenges, keeping vehicles compliant, understanding driver activity, and making sure every truck and trailer is fully visible. And there are many ways one could go about solving them. However, FMC650 is built specifically with functionality to make heavy fleets more efficient effortlessly. So, what is the foundation of the tracker that makes it so smart? Firstly, it uses J1939 protocol, the industry standard for heavy fleets, allowing compatibility with almost any truck on the market, from Japanese to European manufacturers. Also, it connects a tachograph, which provides access to driver activity and supports legal compliance. This is especially important in highly regulated regions. Finally, it connects two CAN lines. This is crucial. It enables data collection from both the truck and the trailer, giving you full visibility through a single installation. So, this is the foundation of our tracker. But I'm sure you're more interested in the solutions you can provide. So, let us move on and explore one of the most challenging aspects of fleet management, which has to do with people. Managing employees is complex because the decisions a business makes directly influence human relationships, emotions, and responsibilities. And fleet managers face the same problems. They have to choose the best drivers based on fair and objective data. Should I increase the salary? Send someone on additional training? These are some of the everyday questions that fleet operators wrestle with. And since 35% of the fleet budget goes to the driver salary, fleets need to manage drivers with wisdom. Truck drivers are also important because, depending on how they operate the truck, they can use more fuel or simply wear out the components faster. Fuel costs are historically one of the biggest expenses for any fleet, accounting for 20 to 40% of the budget. Let's put the statistics in practice. An average truck travels around 100,000 kilometers per year, uses about 25 liters of fuel, and drives 100 kilometers, right? So with an average fuel cost across Europe of 1.4 euros, one truck can burn around 35,000 euros per year. And then there is another part of the problem, which is reckless driving that can lead to component damage and accidents, both of which will leave your truck in the workshop. Apart from the obvious repair costs, non-operational trucks miss out on making revenue for the company. Even a single day of downtime can result in lost revenue of up to 945 euros, not to mention disruptions to delivery schedules and customer commitments. Interestingly, truck manufacturers already know that reducing fuel and extending vehicle life is very crucial for any fleet. That is why they often come up with their own eco-driving solutions. In fact, each truck is equipped with specific controls that are designed to lower fuel consumption and assist in smooth driving. They use cruise control that helps to move within the speed window automatically. Eco-roll means the driver uses neutral gear to roll using truck's momentum. Then coasting technique requires simply letting go of the pedal. Power takeoff transfers engine power to another piece of equipment. And while using the retarder slows down the truck by slowing down the gearbox. However, the reality is that most of the fleets are using multiple vehicle brands, which means that they would need to pay for multiple OEM subscriptions to access the data. Moreover, oftentimes mixed fleets notice that OEMs have different calculation logic for the eco-driving score, which results in one driving having inconsistent scoring when switching the truck models. That is why fleets look to aftermarket telematics for driver scoring. And here's what we noticed. Most telematics providers create driving scoring based on the accelerometer data, which is good because you can showcase things like speeding, acceleration, braking, turning, idling, and reckless driving. However, this type of report misses one crucial understanding. The truck is not driven in the same way a light car is, and the sheer size and the amount of loaded cargo can influence the truck's momentum. Therefore, we recommend that telematics integrators create driving reports with data directly from the truck's CAN bus. Here's what kind of data you can access with FMS Eco Driving reports generated by FMC650. Firstly, the report accounts for all of the truck controls, such as cruise control, coasting, eco-roll, retarder, and power takeoff. Secondly, report also registered how much time, distance, and fuel was spent in each control. So, what would be the main difference in practice between the basic report and one generated based on the FMS data? Basic report will register a smooth driving event, but CAN data will tell exactly how it was achieved by using coasting, which doesn't strain the gears and uses less fuel, or the truck driver actually pressed the brake for 20 times in a row. You see the difference here? Let's take a real-life example. We tested FMS Eco Driving with a truck in Portugal. The truck was driving for 10 minutes and traveled a distance of 12 kilometers, out of which 11 kilometers the driver used cruise control. In the end, he only used 2 liters of fuel. Taking all of this data, our device calculated the ratio, finding the exact percentage of the trip that used cruise control, which is 92%. Once the data is received by the server, you can determine driver scores based on these ratios. For example, a driver can be in A category if he manages to drive with cruise control for more than 18% of the trip. Let's make sure that we get how the solution works. FMC650 accumulates data every second, afterwards sending a report at the end of the trip or at the same time period. In practice, the device sends data using Codec 8 extended protocol, which many of you are already familiar with. Why is it a report-based solution? The answer is that in order to generate a reliable report, a tracker collects data every second. However, sending the data every second would generate too much traffic on the server side, which would result in overload. So the data is gathered and calculated on the device, and only then it is sent to the server. Now, using all of this data report, you can create all sorts of insightful dashboards for the end client, showing how long was the trip, how much fuel was used, how many times did the driver use the brake pedal, and so on. To sum up, there are 2 main benefits to implementing FMS Eco Driving, which is saving money and optimizing operations. For integrators, the regular reports sent by FMC650 don't consume a lot of mobile traffic. They do not require investment in developing the logic for calculating the ratios on the server, and do not unnecessarily load the server, because everything is analyzed on the device directly. For the heavy fleets, clients receive consistent evaluations of the drivers, even when having mixed fleets, and most importantly, they do not overpay for inconsistent insights. Then they can more easily evaluate if the driver is proficient and could use some training. Once again, this data is reliable because with accelerometer, you will just see the fact that the driver is driving smoothly. But with FMS eco driving, you will see if the correct driving technique was used to achieve that result. This is the key proposition of the solution. And finally, when you select and train the best drivers, you can save up to 10–15% of fuel because the driver is using the whole capability of the track. And just like drivers should smoothly operate the truck, I smoothly transition to the next key struggle of heavy fleets, which is uncertainty. Imagine a truck and a driver that hears an annoying sound, a faint knocking, but he sees no warning indicators. With limited information, they contact the dispatcher to assess whether the journey should continue. And the dispatcher has to make a decision to either continue the journey or go to the nearest workshop. A lot of things can go wrong from here. Let's say the fault was not serious, but the dispatcher recommends to go to the workshop. Because the truck is in another country and the workshop charges them for urgency, they would pay twice as high as they would repair the fleet using their own mechanic. Another situation, if the dispatcher chooses to ignore the fault and advises to continue the journey, imagine if it actually was something serious, like a clutch slippage, and the truck just breaks down in the middle of the road. This moment of uncertainty reflects a broader issue. Without access to live diagnostic data, operators are left to interpret the symptoms without any context. To never find themselves in situations of uncertainty, we developed a solution to read DTC codes remotely. FMC650 connects to the diagnostic line, where we can extract two types of diagnostic data: DM1 and DM2 messages. DM1 is currently active codes, which help to determine urgent issues, while DM2 shows historic pattern of the fault. Let's see how the diagnostic message looks in detail and what is hiding under all of these abbreviations. There are two main components to diagnostic message. First one is lamp status. It shows if the truck is in critical condition and they correspond to what the driver sees on the dashboard. There are only 4 lamps in total, and each of them have four possible states: on, off, flash, and slow flash. Let's put that in practice. When the red stop light is on, it means that there is a severe fault requiring immediate stop. But the lamp status itself doesn't tell what component is affected. This information is in diagnostic trouble code. It shows what has been malfunctioning and how badly it is. Trouble code consists of 4 parts. The first part is suspect parameter number, which has a pretty descriptive name, I think, and it shows the exact component which is failing. It quite literally suspects that something is wrong with the clutch, for example. Then there is a failure mode identifier. It describes the type of failure. For example, in case of a clutch slippage, FMI 7 would mean that the mechanical system is not properly responding. Then the smallest part of the code, which you can see, is the conversion method. It shows if the code is proprietary or common. And then finally, occurrence count. It shows how many times the fault has been detected. When we designed this solution, we wanted to make the DTC reading truly flexible for every project, which means giving integrators flexibility to read both common and proprietary DTC codes. Let me explain. Track diagnostics mainly use SIA J1939 protocol for common faults, right? So that all of the mechanics around the world could repair any truck. However, as vehicles advance, every truck model has some unique components, for which you would need a proprietary code, or in other words, a code that belongs to this specific truck manufacturer. We made a key decision not to pre-interpret the codes, meaning that our tracker transmits the number, but not what does the number mean. For example, the server will receive an SPN 94. From here, your fleet management dashboard will look like either displaying SPN number raw and letting the client Google the meaning, or you can partner with the fleet OEM to create a database for what the code means, so that the dashboard will explain that SPN 94 means fuel delivery pressure. To sum up, DTC reading is a functionality that will help fleets eliminate uncertainty surrounding maintenance processes because it clearly shows what component is malfunctioning and how severely. You will be faster than check engine light because first irregularities can actually be spotted around 2 weeks before the serious damage. In overall, this shifts how fleets think about maintenance from reactive to proactive. And of course, because the fleet is not waiting until the last resort to fix the component, they will reduce cost. Finally, let's not forget about the actual place where fleets carry the cargo: trailers. Today we would like to introduce a new step in trailer management, providing trailer information straight from the CAN lines. So, how is it possible that one tracker can read trailer data by connecting to the truck's CAN line? You see, every trailer is equipped with an electronic braking system modulator. It not only controls braking performance, but also ensures seamless communication with the connected truck. Because trucks, trailers, and ABS modulators are manufactured by different companies, a global standard was introduced in 1998 to ensure full compatibility. This standard is regularly updated and allows for smooth coupling between the truck and the trailer, regardless of the brand. It also standardizes data exchange and communication worldwide, making mixed fleets integration much easier. Here's where we decided to tune in with FMC650. The tracker listens to the communication between the truck and the trailer while it is installed inside the truck's cabin. It means that through single device, you can monitor 2 units at the same time. So let's explore what type of data you can extract from the CAN line. You can reliably identify and verify the trailer by reading the VIN number, making fleet dispatchers' life way easier and mitigating driver errors while coupling. You can also read the applied braking forces to detect any abnormalities in the braking system, making your fleet safer. Crucially, if the trailer is equipped with a TMS system, we are capable of providing tire pressure information. For example, if the trailer tires are underinflated by just 5%, you're losing up to 1% more fuel per each trip. And these costs add up quickly but quietly. With Trailer CAN, you can easily monitor the tire pressures of the trailer, reducing the fuel usage and tire wear. Finally, you can also see the axle load and live trailer weight, protecting fleets from drivers unloading unauthorized cargo or thieves stealing from the container. The flexibility of CAN data truly sounds exciting, and I think you should already be in the mindset of what should I integrate and how quickly. And the answer is as soon as possible, because we anticipate a trailer telematics boom across Europe soon. Why? Because there are already European countries that are enforcing stricter laws surrounding trailers. One of the first ones to regulate the trailers was United Kingdom. In April this year, they introduced trailer worthiness standards, asking fleets to prove that the trailer is operational and have a properly functioning brakes. The reason for that is that, of course, safety, because a fully loaded truck can cause little damage to people around on the road, and the malfunctioning brakes are easily most obvious thing that can cause serious damage in the traffic accident. So, how do fleets have to submit this proof? Fleets have to take the trailer to an approved test center, make sure that it's loaded up to 65% of its maximum axle weight and let them run it on the roller brake tester. The machine checks if the braking force and balance while the wheels turn on the rollers. At the end, you get a printout showing if you have malfunctioning brakes or they are in a good condition. Now, you have to do all of this 4 times a year and, of course, store the report somewhere. Let's say you have 20 trailers. That means that you would need to repeat this procedure for at least 80 times a year. Luckily, they also accept optimise reports as a guaranteed proof of properly working brakes, which means that you can automate it with telematics. Using FMC650, we can monitor electronic braking system, and then integrators can create reports that will show braking system performance live, analyze brake condition over time, which significantly reduces the amount of manual labor. And then, as a cherry on top, you can add notifications when it is time to repair the brakes. Another country that started regulating trailers is Switzerland. However, they care more about the damage the vehicle weight might cause on the road. This year, they implemented a new e-toll system that calculates its cost based on total weight of the truck and trailer, emissions class of the truck, and kilometers driven in Switzerland and Liechtenstein. Take, for example, a vehicle with emissions class 8, which is charged about 2.4 euros for every ton-kilometer written. If the total weight of the truck is 18 tons and it drove 100 kilometers through Switzerland, the toll inspection will charge them about 46 euros. Now, you can actually respond to this with trailer monitoring, with live weight trailer monitoring. Live trailer weight monitoring from CAN allows precise determination of the gross combination weight, and this is crucial because the toll is based on the ton kilometers, so under-reporting or over-reporting the weight might affect the cost and compliance. You can help avoid overload of the trailer, making sure the vehicle will not receive any fines. Sometimes it is easy to dismiss the trailer weight because the volume of the trailer always stays the same, right? However, if we take, for example, grain, it weighs more when it is wet, even though the volume stays the same. These are the situations which telematics can help to look out for. Also, you can help with planning better routes based on the toll cost altogether. So, we just covered 3 major solutions that drastically reduce operational costs: FMS Eco Driving, DTC reading, and Trailer CAN. But do they require 3 different devices and 3 different installations? No. They're built in one of the latest FMC650 firmwares, and this can be achieved through a single installation. This one solution monitors the truck, the trailer, driver behavior, and supports the fleet dispatchers. It covers the entire fleet operation. What is also important is that you can upsell your clients to the data a bit by bit. Let's say initially a heavy fleet owner comes with a project for basic data reading and some DDD download. It's going to be really hard to upsell this prospect to premium features from the very beginning because they care to resolve the problem that they have right now, not a distant idea of trailer data reading. So the smarter way of upselling a client is to firstly satisfy the base offering, and after establishing trust in the collaboration, you can suggest new features like trailer data reading. That is why FMC650 is such a good investment. You install the tracker once, and it can scale with the project as the demands become more complex. There are around 7 million registered trucks, even more trailers, and in the Europe alone, and they are all waiting and counting on you to make them smarter. I hope you found this information insightful, and I get back to Ksenia.
Thank you for being here with us today, for joining from different parts of the world. Thank you very much. And yeah, I hope to see you at the future Teltonika webinars. Have a great rest of the day.